How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Yeah, and I mean, welcome to the world of Dune. Let the spice flow, other things that they say in Dune. I mean, Chris, I wanted to start with you, if that's okay. I'm aware that this takes place, 10,000 years before the Atreides that we know, Paul and Leto, but I do feel like House Atreides in this show has a sort of similar reputation. They're war heroes. There's quite a lot of respect. So I wondered if you saw any shared qualities between Kieran and kind of the Atreides that we know.
I think there's a pride and a loyalty that they have. I think that's kind of a brand of the Atreides is pride and loyalty in what you do and standing up for what you believe is right. I think there might be similarities, but we created something so new that it was hard to look ahead. It's a great excuse to watch the movie again when I got the role, but tried very hard not to take anything in terms of character and performance because we are starting from scratch and we want to bring this very different Atreides into this new, very different world that it is at this point.
Sure, I guess it's mostly just boasting at I'm playing the same family as Oscar Isaac and Tony Chalamet.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing my wife said to me, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But then, if you look into ancestry, and 10,000 years is a long time.
It's a long time. Look, people don't need to know that.
Not as cool.
We're all the same gang. Don't worry about it. And Princess Yanz, I wanted to ask about this fantastic scene where obviously she's training to be part of the Sisterhood, the Bene Gesserit, and there's a scene about her being able to step outside her body, showing her abilities, her ability to control her emotion. And I was watching that kind of thinking, gosh, maybe there's a bit of a thin line between the Bene Gesserit and being an actor, because that's kind of the same thing in a similar way.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do have to, I guess, control your emotions or use them in different ways, but also let them out in a different way that I think the Bene Gesserit does. They're much more in control. But yeah, definitely that there are some similarities, yeah.
Did it make you think that you'd be quite good? Because I always wondered, would I be a good Bene Gesserit and kind of figuring out the truth?
I think there's one, I don't know if I would be good at lying and having that poker face, but I think the training and the meeting your ancestors and all of that, I mean, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. And
but knowing if people lies, I was I don't know if I would feel comfortable with that.
And I guess especially with actors, it's sort of a job of very constructed lying.
Yeah.
So if you're surrounded by actors, you're maybe, I don't know, are actors very good liars? I don't know this.
And not in the person, I feel there's a difference in between when you're in a character, portraying a character, than when you're
Yeah, because I think when you're in a character, it becomes your truth for that, however long your scene is. You try and be as truthful as possible as you possibly can to trick your body into those kind of emotions, but I'm a terrible liar in real life. I know.
I don't feel like I'm a good liar either.
I can see right through me. So, I don't know if the correlation's quite there.
One thing I'm kind of really obsessed about what your characters do is that they go to the club. And I've never seen that in Dune before. And obviously, we see a little bit of it, but I have to ask, what is clubbing like in the Dune universe? Is there a Charlie XCX of Dune?
Yeah.
Did you have conversations about that?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean,
I don't remember the music they played in the club for us while we were there, but I think it's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's a TV show, we're able to kind of expand on bits that you don't see, so we're able to go, okay, what do these characters do when they let their hair down?
Yeah.
And, for people of that age who are single or looking for a place to escape and go and do stuff, it's we're all still pretty human, so there would be somewhere like that, So I don't remember.
It was pretty it was some electronic music. Yeah, it was pretty cool, very spicy.
Cool.
And I think, for Princess Yanz, the whole idea, for me as an actor, having that club for her, where she has this place that we talked about, this place where everything that happens there stays there sort of vibe, and for her to be okay, there's this room where I can just be a young person and just let it all out and have fun.
And I guess because you were talking about comparing it to the movies and obviously to Herbert's book, 10,000 years brings it sort of closer to who we are. So I kind of like having the club scene, because that's something we're so familiar with.
Yeah.
I can't really see Paul Atreides like hitting the club. I feel like maybe at that point they're beyond clubbing.
Yeah, it's a very different world there. Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him hit the club.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a really cool deleted scene, I think, you know, if you could find that one.
Yeah.
Dune Messiah, we'll see.
Dune Messiah, we'll see.
Yeah.
And there's a really great line that your mother on the show talks about dress as a show of strength. And I really noticed that your character, like what she wears is really an expression of what she's after at that particular moment. So I wanted to ask about, you know, the moment you put those costumes on, does it really help you find the mindset for that scene?
100%. I think the, you know, my first conversations with Bojana, who's our amazing costume designer, and her whole team was just very helpful for me, like also in terms of creating the character, because Inés very much does express her personality in what she wears. Like even if it's formal clothing for formal events where she is doing her job, there will still be like small leather accessories that are a bit more edgy to show off like her personality. So for me, I think it's just that thing when you're like there, the practical sets, you've done all the work from home, and then you put on the costumes. Like that's the last, you know, piece in a way, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess for Kieran, you mostly have that duality between, you know, you put on the military uniform and then you sort of take it off, and there's the two sides of him there. Did you have a similar experience of just putting the costume on for the scene going, okay, this is the mindset I need?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's an obvious separation there, isn't there, between his two kind of loyalties and where they lie and what he's going into. I think those things start to get blurred as we go forward, which is kind of cool. Yeah, you know, especially the training stuff. The training stuff is like, as soon as you put the short sleeve one on, and I was like, okay, this is where he's most comfortable, most at home, and being able to do those scenes, you know, that was always a lot of fun getting into that world.
And what I find so rich about Herbert's book and all the adaptations is that, like, it's obviously drawing so much from the real world, from real history. And I wondered, for both your characters, were there any particular figures that you were just looking at for inspiration or guidance?
Yeah, well, me and Josh Houston, who plays Constantine Carino, we had many conversations about Prince William and Harry, and royal families in general. You know, how that must feel like living under such circumstances. Not being able to make friends easily, not being able to trust a lot of people because the life you live holds value to strangers, that it can be dangerous, you know, because people want something out of you because of your position, and how, like, there isn't many rooms where they can let go and express their emotions. Like for Inés, you know, the training is one of those rooms where she can, you know, just not think about etiquette, not think about all of that, and just, you know, train. And also with Constantine, because he is, you know, like her, the other person who knows exactly what it's like living that way. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't have a lot of people around them, which is even more so, like, then it's a surprise for Inés when she figures out how much, you know, in common they actually have, Kieran and her. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me it was a little different. I didn't really have anyone that I looked to in terms of, you know, molding the character. I think a lot of it was there in the script and in the books that preceded it informed me a lot. But I did do some like Japanese Hapkido training to kind of see how the sensei taught and how the discipline was. And that kind of got me into the mindset of like, okay, this guy was disciplined and he got all the way to become sword master. That's taken years of training. You know, I did a couple of weeks before doing stunt, you know, it wasn't crazy, but that gave me a little sense of the kind of the artistry and discipline and how seriously people take something like that.